Welcome to Spiritual Enrichment. My name is Reverend Mrs. Naomi Antwi. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for another beautiful day. Daddy, the time has come for us to hear your word. Please come and speak through me. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
One thing I have realized in this world is that whenever a man divorces his wife, he tends to divorce the children also. When a man walks out of the marriage and the child never sees or hears from that man again, that man is creating a lifetime of emotional turmoil in the child's life. You are forcing the child to become an adult overnight because of something you failed to do for your marriage. Because you decided to end the marriage, the child's life ends also. That child will have to deal with the fact that his secured home has been taken away from him. He has to get used to the idea that his parents will hate each other forever, possibly. But we all know that's something that every child from a broken home goes through, right? Every child from a broken home endures this. It has actually become the norm. So that's not a big deal. But if the father abandons the child, if the father abandons the child because he has left the child's mother, because he no longer wants anything to do with the woman, he has abandoned the child because he has moved on, that father is adding more stress to the normal stress that every child from a broken home goes through. Your child has to deal with the loss of his father, and you're not even dead. He has to deal with the fact that he has been abandoned by the father he idolizes. The father he loves so much and looks up to has abandoned him because that father doesn't want the mother anymore. And that makes the child's life miserable. And to make matters worse, my brothers, the father skips his financial responsibilities. If they reside in the U.S., child support enforcement has to make him take care of his own child's financial needs. He has to be forced. And if they live in a country where child support isn't enforced, the father can completely bail out on the mother, completely ignore his financial duties, leaving the child to hustle, not caring about the child's future at all. These are things that are happening to many families. And I am praying that you listening to me are not guilty of that. You see, I get that you don't want to stay with your wife anymore. Bible frowns on divorce. Don't get me wrong. Bible frowns on divorce greatly. But if that's what you want to do, I guess no one can change your mind. You cannot be forced into the marriage. If you are bent on walking out of the marriage, that is your business. But I want you to understand that leaving your wife does not exempt you from your fatherly duties. Leaving your wife doesn't make your child somebody else's child. That child still has needs that you, a father, must meet. And whether you are still married to the mother or not, you have failed the child miserably because you are not taking responsibility for that child because you have moved on. These things are happening in families. I want to talk to you, my brother. Psalm 103:13 compares God's relationship with us to what your relationship with your child is supposed to be. Bible says the Lord is like a father to his children, tender and compassionate to those who fear him. Like. The Lord is like a father to his children. Bible is comparing God's relationship with us to the type of relationship you are supposed to have with your children. This means you have to have compassion for your child. This means that you have to care about whether or not your child went to bed on an empty stomach last night. You have to be compassionate enough to worry about who your child is hanging out with. You have to be compassionate enough to worry about what is happening in your child's life. What is happening? Who are they talking to? Who is advising them? Who is their role model? What are they doing with their lives? You need to know these things. You have to be compassionate. And that compassion should make you take your role as a father more seriously. Whether you are married to the woman or not, it has nothing to do with your child. That child did not ask to be born. He did not pick you. She did not pick you to be his or her father. It was God who chose you to become that child's father. And so you have a responsibility, a God-given responsibility, which has absolutely nothing to do with whether you divorce the woman or not. Whether the woman is using her kids as an instrument or not has nothing to do with the responsibility God has trusted you with. My brothers, listen to me carefully. You have to be compassionate enough to ensure that your child's financial responsibilities are met. Their emotional needs are taken care of. This is your responsibility. When God made you a father, he gave you an important responsibility. God says you are still responsible for that child, whether you are married to their mother or not. Don't leave that responsibility to the child's mother. Don't leave that responsibility to the child's school, the child's teachers, the child's friends. Don't leave your fatherly responsibilities to a stranger who is running the streets. Because do you know what they are going to do? They are going to turn your child into a drug dealer, a gang leader, whatever they want, a thief, a murderer, a rapist. Your child might get raped. You are ruining your child's life by running away from your responsibilities. There's something else God made you responsible for, my brother. That responsibility can be found in Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he's old, he will never depart from it. You see, one of your God-given fatherly responsibilities is to train up your child in the way he would go. But how are you going to train up that child when you have failed the child? You don't call on the child. You don't check on the child. You don't care what they eat or drink. You don't care if they are naked or wearing clothes. You don't care about what they are doing in school. You have failed God. And you have failed God because you have abandoned the child he gave to you. The one responsibility he gave you on earth, you have failed him. How do you expect him to give you more blessings? How do you expect God to give you more responsibilities when you couldn't handle this one responsibility of being a father? You are using the excuse of divorcing the woman to punish the children. The children has become a pawn between you and the mother. Sometimes, neither the mother or the father knows where the child is. The child has become used to the idea. You see, they have mastered the things that are going on. They know how to play the mother and the father. So they'll tell mommy, I'm going to see daddy. And they'll go to their boyfriend's house. They'll go to their girlfriend's house. They'll go hang out with their boys. And daddy never sees them. Mommy is thinking the child is with daddy. Daddy is thinking the mother has the child. But because they are not talking to each other, and the child knows this, and because the father has been a deadbeat father who doesn't care, the child takes that opportunity to do whatever he or she wants to ruin their lives. Is it their fault? Absolutely not. It is your fault. How can you make any impact in the life of your child when you are not there? Do you remember the prodigal son? I think everybody knows the story of the prodigal son. You see, this boy made a mess of his father's property. He made a mess of his own life. He squandered everything he was given. Yet his father forgave him. His father showed him love and compassion. The love and compassion God shows us. That is why I told you earlier that the Bible compares God's relationship with us to the relationship you are supposed to have with your child. The father forgave his son. Your child has not even done a fraction of what this prodigal son did to his father. And yet you have given up so quickly on the child because you left the mother. Because the mother made you angry. Because the mother perhaps cheated on you. Because the mother did something bad. What has that got to do with the child? How is the mother's action the child's fault? What did the child do? You have given up on the child. You don't care. Some of you don't even know where the child lives. You think they live with their mother, but you don't even know where the woman lives because you don't care to know. I'm not asking you to care about the woman. If you don't want to care about the woman, that's okay. That's your choice. But the child is your responsibility. God gave you that child. There are people praying to God to give them children. A man is praying that the wife can give him just one. They don't even care about the sex of the child. They just want to have a healthy child. In fact, some of them don't even care about the health. They just want to have a child. But God has given you this beautiful responsibility. And you are throwing it away for a woman's actions. Lastly, I want to say this. Even though you obviously don't live under the same roof with your child, you have to be active in their lives. Be a part of their lives. You don't have to necessarily deal with the woman if you don't want to. It would be great if you two can communicate peacefully. But if you are not able to do that, still find a way to be a part of that child's life. Pray for them every day. King David prayed for his son Solomon. 1 Chronicles 29:19. It says, and give my son Solomon a loyal heart to keep your commandments and your testimonies and your statutes, to do all these things, and to build a temple for which I have made provision. The part of this prayer that gets me, that I find so powerful, is where David asked God to give his son a loyal heart to keep God's commandments. When was the last time you prayed for your child? The best gift you can give to a child is God. You have to, that's why the Bible says you have to train them the way they should go. But you are not part of their life, so you can't do that. You can't teach them the way of God. So you start by praying for them. Then you have to make what? A move, an action. Go and be part of that child's life. This is the most powerful and most important prayer that David prayed for Solomon. That prayer is a prayer that every single parent should be praying for their children. Pray for your child. My brothers, my fathers, my friends, neighbors, colleagues, if you have abandoned your child for whatever reason, please, I beg you in the name of God, go and find that child. Go and get involved in their lives. Go and be more active in their lives. Be a part of their life. Know what they are about. Know what their interest is. Ask them what they want to do with their lives. Their likes and dislikes. Know the color they love. Their favorite food. Who their friends' names are. Who are they hanging out with? Who is their favorite teacher? What is their favorite subject? What are they struggling with in school? Math, science, what? How can I help you, my child? How can I be a part of this? You're growing up. What can I do for you? Go and be active in the lives of your children. Every child needs a father. Every child. If you are not being a father to your child, somebody else will. It can be the man on the streets. It can be that pimp who is pimping your daughter out to men. Yes. Maybe even the woman has a boyfriend who is not supposed to be around your child. Go and be part of your child's life. Don't abandon your child. He or she is your responsibility given by God. I do pray that you will listen. May God continue to bless you. Matthew chapter 28 verse 19 tells us to go and make disciples of every nation. That is exactly what spiritual enrichment is all about. We do need your help. We want you to share our videos. By sharing our videos, you are also making disciples of every nation. God will continue to bless you. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, once again you have blessed us with your word. I pray, Father, that as your word has gone out, because your word says that when you send out your word, it accomplishes exactly what you send it to accomplish. It does not return void to you. Therefore, as your word has gone out, let it fall on a fertile soil. Let it be planted and let it bear fruits in the lives of your children. We thank you, we bless you, we honor you, and we exalt you. Thank you for speaking through me and for letting your word minister to my soul. Let your word minister to the soul of everyone listening. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Thank you so much for watching Spiritual Enrichment. God bless you.